A top U.S. diplomat has met with Niger's military leaders in a failed attempt to end their coup. Victoria Nuland, acting Deputy Secretary of State, said she was denied a meeting with the detained president. Regional body ECOWAS will hold a meeting on Thursday to decide its next move in the face of defiance by the junta and its regional military allies.
Shaking hands, offering arms. Delegations from Mali and Burkina Faso flew to Niger's capital Niamey to show their support for the coup leaders. The three West African countries are now all ruled by military juntas. They say they'll defend Niger against any external intervention.
To the brotherly people of Niger, these are difficult times. Mali and Burkina Faso have been through similar ordeals. We would like to reassure them most firmly of our support and solidarity. Let us remain resilient and stoic.
Earlier, the coup leaders defied an ultimatum set by the regional body ECOWAS to reinstate the detained president. Instead, closing Niger's airspace and warning any intrusion would be met by an energetic response. On the streets of Niamey, emboldened supporters of the junta are speaking out against the deposed president and government.
They managed the country as they pleased. They did what they want to the detriment of the population. They even betrayed their oaths. Their party did not stick to their own policies.
The coup leaders are now calling for young people to defend their regime against a possible invasion. And students at this university say they are ready.
If ECOWAS decides on military intervention, we are going to take courage in our hands to defend our country too. We're going to take to the battlefield if necessary. That's our decision as students.
When it comes to our homeland, no sacrifice is too much. Whatever happens for our homeland, we're ready to give our lives.
The junta's power grab has been followed by international sanctions, which could cripple the economy of an already destitute country. Those sanctions are now being used as a rallying cry by the junta and its allies.
Our correspondent Olisa Chukwumah has been on this story for us since the coup took place in late July. He joins us now from Nigeria. Thank you so much for speaking to us again. How do you read this meeting with the U.S. envoy? Were there any promising signs?
Well, Claire, there's lots to read into the meeting. A surprise one from this top U.S. envoy, Victoria Nuland, Deputy Secretary to the high official in the U.S. there. But in terms of positives gained from it, in fact, that she was able to, and her crew was able to, to land in Niger despite the closing of airspace. It shows that perhaps how the U.S. see diplomacy and also negotiations on the sidelines. So what ECOWAS are doing to make sure that there is some sort of closure to the situation and the crisis in Niger with the coup leaders. And this also comes after we had comments from senior White House officials talking about a window of opportunity for the coup leaders to return to power. And Anthony Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, also stating that the U.S. backs every effort when it comes to ECOWAS ending the crisis in Niger. So it only shows how close the U.S. and serious the U.S. are taking the situation in Niger.
Yeah, let's look at ECOWAS's efforts. Their members have said that military intervention would be a last resort. What other options do powers have, both regionally and globally, to reverse this coup?
Well, Claire, they've already started with the likes of, hard, biting economic sanctions, border closures between Nigeria and other, West African bloc nations. So these sanctions will continue to come from the ECOWAS bloc. We know that they will be meeting again. Their deadline passed on Sunday, so they'll be meeting again in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Thursday to have a more robust discussions. Don't forget, the military chiefs have made it clear from ECOWAS that military intervention will be their last resort. So perhaps there will be other non-military interventions to be used by ECOWAS, much of them coming on pressure through economic sanctions on the military junta.
Yeah, tell us more about that. As you mentioned, Western and African countries have already imposed sanctions. They've also cut aid. Do we have a sense of how much this is going to hurt Niger and the people who are living there?
Yes, it is. The border blockades with Nigeria really beginning to hit hard on the people who live and depend on these daily services with countries like Nigeria, Togo, Benin, not able to get grain, not able to get food. Prices are soaring in the country. The bags of rice are beginning to get so expensive. So people will find it hard to get food as the economic sanctions continue to bite hard. And don't forget, this is a landlocked country, but one of the poorest in the world. Aid from the likes of U.S. already been cut off, and this is a country that has, over 40% of its budget coming from aid. So the sanctions will really bite hard already, as we see in Niger.
DW correspondent Olisa Chukwumah, thank you, as always, for your reporting.